We have the second example on how now we can determine the mean for the grouped data. Now, the table below shows the speed of 100 vehicles passing at traffic checkpoints. Speed 30 to 39. 13 cars were recorded. That when they were passing at the traffic checkpoint, 13 cars from 30 to 39, and 40 to 49 or about 24 cars or vehicles. And then 50 to 59 they recorded X. So that is unknown. 60 to 69, 15 cars or vehicles were recorded. 7 to 79, 16 cars were recorded. 80 up to 89, 7 cars were recorded or vehicles. The question is, determine now, find the value of X, estimate the mean speed. To find the value of X is not definitely a problem because we've been given the total number of vehicles that were recorded, were recorded passing at traffic checkpoints. So means that the sum of the cars or vehicles must be equal to 100. And if that is the case, we are having 13 plus 24 plus unknown X plus 15, then plus 16, then plus 7 is equal now to 100. Because 100 cars were recorded passing traffic checkpoints. So the sum of the cars must be equal to 100. And therefore, we are definitely looking for 13 plus 24 plus X plus 15 plus 16 plus 7. And the answer must be equal now to 100. It is now 75 plus X is equal now to 100. And therefore, we are looking for the value of X. Now, X is equal now to 100 minus 75, which now is equal to 25. Now, the value of X is definitely equal now to 25. So, we have got this one because we've been given the number of vehicles that were passing, that passed through a traffic checkpoint. And now we recorded for every car according to its speed. Example, for those passed at the traffic checkpoint that with a speed of 30 to 39 were 13 cars. And those passed at a traffic checkpoint with this speed, there were 24. So it's all about recording the number of cars according to the record that we are given by the traffic. And this is what I've definitely obtained the value of X. Therefore, here it is 25. So now the number of cars that were recorded passing a traffic checkpoint with a speed of 50 to 59 were 25. After then, you have to find out what we call it X, midpoint for every group, And as I said before, midpoint is obtained after you have taken the lower class boundary plus the upper class boundary, then you divide it by 2. It is where now definitely you can find the midpoint. Therefore, let us record for the midpoint. Now, the midpoint, our midpoint, now that is X, will be equal now, can be determined. Our midpoint can be determined in such a way that we are having midpoints. Now, a midpoint for this one is therefore you find the lower class boundary plus the upper class boundary, then you divide it by 2. It is now 34.5. And then the frequency, it is frequency now, it is 13. Then next one, it is now 44.5. So here, so frequency for this one 13 and frequency for this one is 24, and then the midpoint for this one is 54.5 and it is frequency is 25, and then again the midpoint for this one is now 64.5, and its frequency is all about 15. And then the midpoint for this one, it is 74.5, and its frequency is 16. Midpoint for this one is all about 84.5, and its frequency is 7. Therefore, then what next? It is frequency. Now we have written frequency. Therefore, the sum of frequency is equal now, means this one plus 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 this one. As I said, it's all about 100. And then we are looking for the fx, means you take x times f, x times f, x times f. When you look at this one, it is all about this one times this one. Then f of x means you take this one, you multiply by this one multiplied by this one. So taking this time this one, here it is. Taking this time this one, here it is. Then after you have done so, you are having sum of fx, means you have to take this one plus 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 this one. 5, 6, 3, 0. Now the sum of fx is 5630, and the sum of frequency is 100. Therefore, we are looking for the mean. Mean is equal to sum of fx over sum of frequency. But sum of fx 5630 over then 100. That will be equal now to 56.3. So this is all about the mean speed. So the mean speed for every car that passed through a traffic checkpoint, it was this one. So that is how now we can determine what we definitely call it a mean for a group D data. So what you have to do, by summarizing, what you have to do, if now you've been given a question and you need to determine what we call it a mean for the group data, first of all you have to find the midpoints. And the midpoint I've told you, it's all about taking the lower class boundary plus the upper class boundary, then you divide it by 2. In short, it's all about taking the average of these two numbers in a group, two numbers in a group, two numbers in a group, two numbers in a group. Therefore, now you get what we call it midpoint, and it is represented by x. This is here I've written. Therefore, f, it is frequent. That is what it is written from the question, and this must be the sum of the thing that you are just talking about. Therefore, fx is all about taking x times f. Then you multiply them. A normal multiplication. Once you have done so, you have now to find out what we call it sum of frequency, which now is equal to 100, and then sum of fx, that is 5630. And therefore, so far we know how to determine mean. You should have sum of fx over sum of frequency. Therefore, by using that concept, it is where now you can find it is 56.3. This is what we call it a mean speed that was recorded through that traffic checkpoints. So this is how different we can determine the mean of the mean of the group D frequent distribution table.